Hilary, these mysterious deaths are our business to solve, not yours.
Little busy at the moment. You know, now's not the time to be wandering around, what with the gruesome killings and clueless investigators. Could wind up dead, or answering questions until you wish you were. From what I gather, soldiers at Caton Keep have been disappearing in the night, only to have their desiccated bodies show up days later. The garrison's completely spooked. I came to look into it, but the divine prosecution beat me here. We don't exactly see eye to eye when it comes to hunting baddies, so now they're going to spend weeks questioning soldiers and measuring footprints, while more people get turned to jerky. Actually, maybe you could help me with that? I really thought I was going to have to do a lot more convincing. Helping strangers break into keep's a hobby of yours. Odd hobby. What I really need is a distraction. If you can keep Lindafoy at the gate, busy for a minute, I can handle the rest. I have a document saying I'm an inspector sent by the Proxy Queen to investigate. But since Lindafoy and everyone else in there knows that's not true, I can't use it. You, though. Show it to Lynn, act all high society, and waltz right in. Doesn't matter. It'll buy me time to sneak past either way. If you do get inside, all the better. We can partner up. I'm sure you'll do fine. It helps if you imagine a really big stick up your spine. Straight back. Perfect. All right, Royal Inspector. Off you go. Just talk like you've never interacted with an actual person at any point in your life. We'll put a stop to these killings, and maybe not even get arrested. Fun, right? The Divine Prosecution are great at stopping crime and rooting out sedition. But stuff like this, things that go bump in the night, that's when you need a specialist. I'm very special. It's a hobby. Well, more of a lifelong calling that leaves me little time for hobbies, but I'm doing what I love, and in my own way, and I'm really good at it. Not that the Divine Prosecution would ever admit it. The Divine Prosecution cordoned off the area, and like I said, they're not big fans of me. I may have been a bit indelicate when I suggested they collectively had the hunting sense of a blind cliff racer. These things happen. They keep the peace in Somerset, mostly by making sure no one steps out of line. When something's amiss, they investigate and kick the problem in the teeth, if need be. Too dogmatic, though. Who cares about procedure when lives are on the line? Only slightly, and the Order has bigger concerns at the moment. Once it's clear you're not a suspect, I'm sure they'd let you off with a stern warning. But we're not going to get caught, right?
This keep has been ordered sealed by the Divine Prosecution pending the completion of our investigation. Please be on your way. That's interesting, because investigating these killings is obviously the jurisdiction of the Divine Prosecution, so something tells me you're full of Griffin guano. Give me one. Let me see those. It looks official. I don't know who you are, but this investigation is clearly under our purview. This is about politics, isn't it? Always politics. Of course you can't. Fine, go inside. I won't stand in your way, but stay out of mine.
You must have clenched pretty hard to sell those forged papers to the likes of Lynn. Relax before you sprain something. Now all we have to do is find and kill a murderous Daedra that's evaded capture for weeks. Easy, right? Most killers don't suck out all your organs and leave a corpse with the consistency of stale bread. Mortal ones, anyway. And neither do vampires, for that matter. Aside from that, I have my methods of sniffing out Daedra. Well, when you expose the stem of an attuned Wilderking rod to air that someone breathed in the presence of a Daedra, it glows orange. Also, my latest Squabblood scribing said, you know what, just watch and learn. I'm getting to that. Don't rush me. Just stand back and don't radiate any palpable evil, all right? This is a little trick I picked up in Coral. Stendar, shine your righteous light on those that would flee your justice. Show me where evil lurks, and I will deliver retribution. 2 lights. There's not supposed to be... All right, whatever. I'll follow this one. Follow that light and see where it leads you. Then meet me inside the refectory. Go, go! You don't understand?
Ah, the accomplice. Welcome. 2 arrests in 1 day. This is going to reflect well on my next report. Oh, did you? Well, let me see it then. The Insatiable, is it? Who writes this rubbish? Grisly rubbish at that. I'll admit the methods are similar to our case, but this still doesn't prove the presence of an actual Daedra. Where did you find this? I was never informed of any architectural eccentricities, something the garrison will answer for, so that spell might have some merit. Silery claims it was leading her to a Daedra hiding in the cellar. Are you willing to stake your freedom on that? To be clear, when all is said and done with this, I'm arresting you anyway, but I'll indulge this line of inquiry. If you're right, I'm sure your cooperation will reflect favorably in your trial. Fleeing will not. Am I understood? Release her.
But, sir... This is going to end badly.
This light will reveal the Daedra. Be ready.
More outsider magic. Reckless Silery.
Have a little faith, High. It's tracking something.
A dead end. How embarrassing.
No! After her! That thing can't have gone far.
Fan out? Why? I thought you didn't believe me. Check down the hall. I'll see what I can find up ahead.
Wait your turn, morsel. You'll meet the insatiable soon enough.
Well, I think we might be on the right track. Ow. Our Daedra summoner, no doubt. No one I recognize. Begs questions, but that can wait. Give chase and find Lindefoy. Silery went after her, but there was an awful lot of screaming. Through those doors. Down where we keep the wine. This place, it's Katan, but different. I'm probably not making much sense, am I? Helping the others falls to you now. Terribly sorry about that.
Oh God, it's going to eat me! Hi, Akil! Anyone, help me!
It's trying to slip away into the real world. I'll hold it as long as I can. Chew on that for a while, gut-sucker.
Silery, you saved me.
Don't look so surprised. Come on, let's get out of here.
You live? This won't do. This won't do.
The summoner, she's getting away. Lynn, can you hold this portal open?
Why? Where are you going?
Find that mage and kick her ass. I'm going back for High.
You'll be trapped. Why does she never listen? I can't hold it. Damn it! That was such a stupid, reckless. Damn it, Silery. I can't let her lord this over me. We have to save them. She must be hiding in these ruins. Wait, I know where we are. These ruins are right under the nose of Katan Keep. Silery and I explored here as children. We always did love mysteries. Our mothers hated it. We'd come home covered in clay. So the mage got into Katan Keep through here somehow. Was that her reason for coming here? We still don't know our suspect. The motives, barely anything really. God, this investigation has really gotten away from me. A of conspiracy? Now that's something I can grasp. The tone of this letter suggests our perpetrator can't afford to simply go into hiding. We're backing her into a corner. That'll make her desperate. What's that? I just felt a ripple of magicka, like the opening of those portals, but much larger. I think the others are in danger. It came from that way, across the bridge. Hurry! No sign of Duranial, but this is definitely the epicenter of the magic I felt. There's still power clinging to this Aldma altar. It must be the bridge she is using to travel to and from the realm of that thing. Theoretically, from what little I know about opening portals to Daedric realms, there's typically an object here, in Tamriel, that is attuned to the place in question. This Aldma altar is the only thing I'm getting a strong feeling from. Not as it is. If this is a bridge, then Duranial has barred and locked the gates. We need to undo her spell, then I should be able to recreate the ritual to open the way for us. In my experience, most cultists tend to just ape whatever spells and rituals someone else developed. That letter you showed me mentioned books from her benefactor. You found one for Daedra's summoning. It stands to reason there's another for this. That was dramatic. That's it! It reeks of that monster's realm. I'll hold it open. Go. Ugh, it feels like worms wriggling through my soul. I can do this. I can... What are you waiting for? Go!
You? Again? I won't let you ruin my... I'll feed your corpse to the insatiable.
I'm all right. Somehow.
This way! Quickly! I can't hold this open for long!
Well, I've had my fill of this place. Let's excuse ourselves before any more dinner guests arrive.
I might fast for a month after this. Thanks for stopping that Daedra-loving loony from sucking out my soul. You took a big risk sticking your neck out for us. But what are recent acquaintances for, right? Guess I owe Lynn, too. Not going to live that down. We'll be fine. It's not the first time someone has tried to drain and devour my soul. Happens more often than you'd think, actually. Hazards of the job. As for Hai, I think he's secretly enjoying all this excitement. She was raving about her work not being done and how she was going to use our desiccated husks to restore the insatiable. I sort of tuned it out at a certain point, but got the impression she wasn't doing all this for her own amusement. Though, what now? Nope, forget I asked. Save it for Hai. He's way more interested in all this intrigue nonsense. I'll stick to gut-punching hungry monsters. Looks like someone got bitten by the hunting bug on this little adventure. Savor your victory, killer. Keitan Keep is safe again thanks to you. Judging by these results, I should rope random strangers into my work more often. Kidding, kidding. Take a nice deep... Looks like someone got bitten. Now that the immediate danger's passed, I will want to get back to combing through the details of what transpired here. It'll be really boring. Like, really boring. But since you got us back on speaking terms, I'll help Lynn and Hai investigate. Hey, don't go rubbing my nose in it. It wasn't easy fighting off Daedra with Hai slumped over my shoulder. You'd think he'd make a better shield with that hard head of his. That mage got the drop on us while we were licking our wounds. You'll want to talk to Hai about that, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. The divine prosecution doesn't welcome outside perspectives with open arms. If you think Hai and Lynn can be stuffy, you should see their superiors. Well, Lynn and I grew up around here. We always had a knack for sticking our noses where they didn't belong, so the divine prosecution was a natural fit. For her, anyway. Too rigid for me, so I left. There were some hard feelings. He's our mentor. Was my mentor. Loves his work, and he's a good person, but he clings too tightly to protocol. He took the brunt of the abuse from our superiors when I was out of line. I thought he'd have been happy when I resigned my commission. No, Hai and Lynn were always more than colleagues to me. We were friends. We'll stick by each other, but the divine prosecution has a long way to go before they take back the likes of me. Not that I'd want to go back anyway.
moment for... Thank you for heeding my call, newcomer. I don't suppose your passage to Somerset brought you past Waston Coraldale? My father, Curteros, runs a boat in an angler fleet. They're long overdue, and while his stride tends to be a leisurely one, I've never seen the whole fleet gone for so long. I'm probably over-concerned. The weather's been fair and the wind's mild. Perhaps their fishing has been so fruitful they dare not waste their good fortune. But I'd feel better if I knew what to make of their delay. The fleet set off west. Waston Coraldale is an island engulfed by coral reefs, but you can reach it safely in that sailboat. I'd go with you, but I'm afraid I don't share my father's comfort with open water. Not especially. I've never been myself, but father's only remarked about the occasional ornery coral crab or hungry salamander. The reefs are the only real hazard, but only to a ship of considerable size and flimsy make. Oh, there's not much to tell. He's plied the sea for its bounty for as long as I can recall, and that's some time, mind you. We eat well, and he makes a fair bit of coin with his best catches, but sometimes I wish he'd keep a bit more lively. Not since I was very young. My father took me fishing once, showed me how to bait a hook, coax a bite and work the line until the catch tires out. It wasn't meant to be an eventful trip, but it turned out that way. Father dozed off, so I continued to apply what I'd learnt without him. Soon enough I'd hooked my first catch. Or rather, it hooked me. Yanked me clear off the boat and into the deep. I was too shocked to let go of the rod, nearly drowned. Yes, fished me out of the drink, quite literally. He still calls me his prized catch. It's funnier when you're not coughing up seawater.
Well? Who's there? Quiet down, you'll spook the fish. Never seen you before. Guess no one told you that this is my spot. Been my spot nearly a century. And it'll be my spot a century more, God's willing. So don't go getting any ideas. Plenty of space down the coast. So, off with you now. Huh, fancy that. I told Hiranessa for years those sea elves would mount an invasion from Waston Coraldale. Figures they'd launch it while I was having a nap. Well, come along then. Best send them off before they hook all the best catchings. Of course, any Royal Marine of the Queen's Navy worth their salt would. Might have traded my saber for a fishing rod, but I've still got my sea legs, and I'm still as sharp as the day I mustered. The others I sail with are civilians, though. Aye. Even if they caught a glimpse of a sea elf cutter before it reached Waston Coraldale, there's no chance a fishing boat would have outrun it. If anyone from the fleet's still alive out there, it's our duty to help them. Lest we split up. Unless my creaking knees give me away, I ought to be able to handle some scouting while you're searching for survivors. We'll rendezvous with the old lover's tree near the reef on the eastern shore. My friends will know the one. Unless I'm caught. Won't be much use to the sea elves as a prisoner, but I'll black an eye or two before I greet my maker. Tell her my children are grown and my wants are few. But I cannot say the same for my friends. I've had a good life. I don't mind trading what's left of it, so others might have the same. 3 aside from myself: Imdolina, Aldoterel, and Carterel. Not much of a fleet when you compare it to the Royal Armada, but we're the scourge of anything with guilds. Hope you find them safe and sound. Too quiet. If one of them had reached the mainland, the Royal Navy would have sent ships to intercept these sea elves by now. No one knows they're here except us. Enemy movement. Numbers, positions, assess our situation. I hope to have a plan by the time you've finished your search.
Sacred ascendants, take me home. I thought you were a sea elf. One moment I was just dipping my toes in the shallows having a pleasant day. The next there's a murderous corsair or hungry reef viper around every corner. We're trapped. He's alive. At his age I'd have thought he'd be the first to fall prey to those sea elves. Should have given the stubborn old salt more credit. I'll make my way to him. Better than waiting to die out here. Thank you.
Seals. Fond of winged snakes and soggy chests. Noted. Ah, fleshy, thick-thumbed biped. Hello. You're an elf, right? Or is it a man? I'm sorry. I have some difficulty telling you people apart. You're much less blue than the others. In color, I mean, not disposition. Anyway, what can I do for you? Josiah. Wait, you're talking about that jittering mage I tricked into freeing me, right? Oh, she's a delight. I had hoped for a longer holiday. Can only manage a leap like this once a century, after all. Ah, well. I'm actually quite comfortable here, mate. Cozy accommodations, the transliminal tones of the ocean waves, gangly meat brains to mock. But I guess I should be going. These elves plan to sell me. Can you imagine? I'll help you. On one condition. When we're done sewing up these chronosymphonic when we're done sewing up these time breaches, you'll let me wander the Mundus in peace. No more dim-witted Sijiks peppering me with questions. No more dusty shells. We have a deal? Right. So, should we get going, or...? Of course you do. Everyone asks questions, and I have all the answers. Fair warning, be specific. I'm bound to tell the truth, but the truth can be a little slippery. You know what I mean? I'm a traveler like you, except, well, nothing like you, to be honest, no offense. I'm what you might call an aspect, eh? Like an idea's shadow. Don't make a face, I'm telling you the truth. Not my fault your language is so crude. I'm not in the skull, I am the skull. At least here on Nern. Over in the adjacent place, I'm shaped like a throw pillow. Imagine that. You look confused. It's just a trick of the light, mate. The skull's what you might call a manifestation. Of me! This is just sad. Try this. Imagine a soul gem. Got it? Now imagine that the soul in the gem is also the gem itself. Weird, right? Ha! Mime and a head explosion. You can't see it because I haven't got any arms, but it's happening. I am one of the unfortunate quirks of the Sijic binding ritual that brought me here. I'm free to lie as much as I like, unless you, or anyone else for that matter, ask me a direct question. Cheap trick if you ask me. They did, a bit. I'm certain I could break out if I really put my mind to it. I don't blame them, honestly. If I was in their position, bobbing along like a little lost acorn in an ocean of knowledge, I'd want to trap me too. I guess, but instantaneous translocation's not like a Sundas stroll. The veil here in Mundus is all thick and sticky, you know? Like I said before, I think I'm grounded for the foreseeable future. Oh well. I am. I had no idea you were so funny. We're gonna have a really good time, you and I. Yes, in answer to your direct question, I do know a lot, and by a lot, I mean basically everything. Well, an augur of the obvious wouldn't be very useful, would it? For what it's worth, I lobbied for something way more impressive. The resplendent skull of hexagonal wonders! It was forcefully vetoed. No counting for taste, I guess. Of course I do. Everything has a name. Names give a thing its shape. Birds, snowflakes, tea kettles, you get the idea. I'd tell you mine, but you'd need about 6 more tongues and a pair of cymbals to pronounce it correctly, so let's not bother. Fair enough. So, where to? I assume you've got a map or something? So, you know where we're going now, right? Good. You take me to a time breach, and I'll help you spot it. Huh. This bag's a bit snug, eh?
Stranger, don't anger the salamanders. They're the only thing keeping those sea elves from wandering too close. What are you doing out here? I've never seen you before. You're sure we're talking about the same Kurtaros? The one I know is more likely to be mistaken for dead and sleep right through this whole mess.
watching his damnation on my back. But I've seen everything I need to know what the enemy's up to. How fares the search? Any sign of Carterel? Never do when it comes to these sea elves. They'll rob us of more than a few good souls before all is said and done here. They're digging in, placing ballistae along the shore. When the Royal Navy finally does mount an attack, they'll be taking fire from Maormer on both land and sea. It'll be a bloodbath, unless some misfortune befalls their plans. Catch my drift? I'm not suggesting we repel the whole invasion, but I do know my way around a ballista. If we turn one toward their own ships and cause enough of a stir, we can draw on a friendly patrol and catch the sea elves out of their element. I'll get into position and await your attack. Then we'll give those sea snakes a good spearing while these two make for your vessel. You do have a vessel, don't you? All right, you two go prepare the boat our friend brought. We'll provide a distraction. Trinamac's wrath be with us. Fall back and get to the boat. Captain coming aboard. Boats prepped and ready.
Father! You had me so worried. What happened? Where's your boat?
None of that now, my nervous cup. I'll tell you all about it. But first, there's one more thing we need to see to. Come, friends.
He washes up here after being gone for weeks, his boat nowhere in sight, and he acts like it's just another day on the sea. Was everything all right? Did he cause you any trouble? Oh, he put you up to that, didn't he? Papa always loves to embellish his journeys. Whatever the truth is, I'm just glad you brought him home safe. If all newcomers are so kind, Somerset will be fortunate to have you. He's not fooling me. I can tell something happened. Father's putting on a brave face, like he used to whenever I'd ask him about his younger days. He'd smile and deflect the question, but I could see a sadness in his eyes he couldn't hide. His secret. The fanciful story of meeting my mother, a myth about how the moon and stars winked on the day of my birth, and tall tales about his fishing voyages. Before that, not a word. Not once. I don't think I'll ever get the truth out of him. 70 years isn't enough. I love my father, but all I want is to love him for who he is, not who he shows me. When he was missing, I wasn't just worried I'd lose him. I was worried I'd never get the chance to know him. You didn't come here to listen to a grown woman bawling about her father to a stranger. Forgive me. You did enough bringing him home safe. What comes after is up to me. He's not fooling me. I can tell something happened. Father's the fanciful story of meeting my... You're serious? So what you said about the sea elves attacking, it was all true? What's he hiding? Was he a pirate? I always wondered if he didn't talk about it because he was ashamed. Why would he hide that? I'm sorry, I have so many questions and it's not you who has the answers. I'll leave my father to the company of his friends for now, but when he's ready to come home, he can't leave his other life behind this time. He and his mates have a tradition of celebrating their safe return. They're partial to a small batch brewer on the south side of Alenor, by the craft masons. They'll probably be there all night. Oh yes, she and Carterell have been together for years. She used to look after me when I was younger, while Father and the others were off at sea. She's a good friend. I imagine she'll be with Father and the others, waiting to see Carterell when she arrives.
Even the proxy queen buys my horses. She's got a fine eye, I can tell you that much.
About you. Some sort of quality that's rare to find. And trust me, I'm never wrong about these sort of things. Can I interest you in a room at the local inn? Actually, wait, that came out wrong. Look, empty rooms are just bad for business. The upkeep alone costs me more than the place is worth. But I think we can come to a sort of arrangement. And not the sort of arrangement that involves a few drinks. Let me be clear about that. I need someone to improve the reputation of my properties. A hero type who people look up to. And I have a feeling about you. You've done something great and are probably on the way to do something greater. Seems like we can help each other here. Yeah, all right. Details. I can see how this might be a bit sketchy, but don't worry. The inn room is well kept, conveniently located. I know you adventuring types wanting a home in every town. This would be a nice addition to your holdings. No catch. I just need someone to freshen up my image. And my gut tells me you're the one to do that. As long as you're not planning on turning it into a skooma den or an outlaw's refuge, the room is all yours. Oh, sure. You can set up some crafting stations, house your pets, display any treasures or trophies you've come upon in your adventures. Hey, you can even set up a target dummy to practice combat. Just don't demolish the place and we're good. Excellent. You won't regret this decision, I swear. Here's the deed and key to the room. Took me a while, but I finally was able to take them back from the last tenant. Required more time in the sewers than I had hoped for, but hey, that's business. Hope the room is to your liking. With your reputation, I'm sure you shouldn't have any trouble with the neighbors. If you do, remember death threats are not the way to go. Had a spot of trouble when my last tenant started sending those out. Nope, just make yourself at home. Spruce things up a bit. Honestly, I can't wait to see how you arrange the place. Hopefully you'll end up with a few less Daedric shrines than another former tenant of mine. Like 0. 0's a good number. Oh, what a relief. I can't tell you how hard it is to wash bloodstains off of cobble floors. But that's not even the worst of it. I've had tenants cram their rooms with the wildest things. Mounts, foliage, assistants. I mean, it's an in-room. I own this and several other properties throughout Tamriel. It pays to diversify. Of course, that means I've got to look out for a variety of troubles, too. But hey, no one ever said the real estate business was easy.
Friend High Elf, welcome! Let me draw pleasure by filling your stomach with the finest food in Somerset. An Argonian stopped by and asked if I had 6 ewes parfait. I thought she was joking. The arrivals need to learn to appreciate real food.
Together they combine their might. The all-flags navy sails with Bendu Olo at his side, slinging sword and spell. He beat back the tide, the coral kingdom fell. Oh, Sirabane, oh, Sirabane, ye myrrh of godly fate. Oh, Sirabane, oh, Sirabane, the youngest of the 8. Now, good Myr, remember well the tale of Sirabane. Dogs came to
So good to see a fellow Ultima still our tumultuous times. With the army engaging on our island, our resources thin, hence the contracts. Each assignment varies in scope, but all assume a certain level of danger. Some can be completed alone, but others will need allies to complete. You'll be asked to dispatch dangerous creatures, investigate suspicious activity, those sorts of tasks. In accordance with our current regulations, each deputized citizen may accept a single contract from each justiciar every day. You are encouraged, of course, to check back regularly for new assignments. Does this kind of work appeal to you? Very well. I hereby authorize you to execute duties on behalf of the Divine Prosecution. Seek Justiciars, Farewell and Tenorian for your first assignments. They handle the administration of all contracts. Go speak to Farewell and Tenorian. They can set you up with contracts and get you right to work. The Divine Prosecution is a division of the Queen's Thelmore. charged with enforcing secular and religious law through Somerset. We investigate corruption and crime and adjudicate legal disputes. Your assignments will reflect this broad scope. Justicia Tenorian's contracts can be handled by a single agent, while Justicia Farewell's assignments require a group to eradicate the dangerous beasts she cares about. And at some point, talk to Battle Reeve Tannaline about specialized missions.
As a duly sworn deputy of the Divine Prosecution, your aid is required, newcomer. Dangerous entities have appeared throughout Somerset, and we could use the help of skilled adventurers such as yourself. Will you comply? The sea-slowed Bekorgan has turned the Wellican Cove west of Alinor into a lair of sorts. My scouts report that the vile Slode uses alchemy to empower the other members of the Abyssal Cabal and transform Yagra into even more fearsome creatures. I need you to destroy the tainted coral that serves as the primary ingredient for Bekorgan's alchemical concoctions. Then, eliminate the Slode alchemist before he can unleash more terrors upon the island. I suggest you take companions on this one.
Ah, there you are. I see you've been deputized by Chief Justiciar Carwin. It's quite exciting to see so many newcomers taking an interest in our little project. Now, I expect you're ready for your first assignment. The Divine Prosecution has been tasked to recover rows of Archon blossoms on behalf of the Sapiarchs. Not life-threatening, perhaps, but still of vital importance to several of their religious ceremonies. Well worth the risks, I assure you. I'm afraid that Archon's Grove has been recently taken over by a pack of werewolves. Most dreadful, but the Divine Prosecution cannot reassign resources to manage the outbreak. You'll have to go in alone. Are you willing to take on this assignment? Remember, the Divine Prosecution placed a great deal of trust in you with this assignment. We wouldn't want to give newcomers a bad name, so go out and get it done. To understand that, you must know the legend of Nenimil, Archon of Song. He was an orphan and poet, and would often sing of the beauty of Mara. He felt that he could feel no greater love than that of the goddess who was mother to all creation. Nenimil wished for nothing more than to see Mara herself. He searched all of Somerset, visiting holy sites and seeking rumors of her presence. Then, one day he came upon the most exquisite flowers, beautiful roses that seemed to shine in the light. He realized the truth. Mara wasn't a mere being, but rather beauty itself. Her goodness was in all exquisite things, such as the rose he had found. He dedicated his life to teaching that. His rose has been used to honor Mara ever since.
If you came for crafting certificate, covers my considerable fees, allowing me to impart my knowledge at no cost to you. If you prove yourself, I'll certify you as competent to fulfill crafting writs. Crafting writs are daily requests for crafted goods. You must be a certified crafter to fulfill them. Prove you know what you're doing, and I'll certify you. I'm authorized to train and certify provisionals, alchemists, and enchanters. If this interests you, we should begin immediately. Certainly, please specify. Food and drink, anything that warms the belly, reinvigorating body and mind. If you choose to learn this art, I will impart the culinary knowledge I acquired over the course of decades. Potions of all kinds, the subtle art of mixing reagents can produce rather unsubtle effects. Glyphs to empower weapons, armor, and jewelry with magical properties. I can teach you how to wreath your axe with flames, or give cloth robes the strength of iron. I suppose I should mention Milleneth. She certifies blacksmiths, clothiers, and woodworkers, if you're into that sort of thing. But that's uncharitable of me. She's a true master of the material crafts.
I see something with passion, teeming with brilliance, though not yet realized. Tell me, do you wish to be certified in jewelry crafting? A certification will allow you to fulfill jewelry crafting rites. But first, you must demonstrate an understanding of the fundamentals. Create for me a simple ring. Yes, that task will be suitable to show me your craft. Let's get started, shall we? After all, good polish takes time. First, you must gather the required materials needed to create your ring. A true artisan starts from scratch, after all. Pewter dust, of course! It's an important component of jewelry crafting. You'll always want to have some on hand, should you wish to take up this most noble craft. There should be a suitable supply of pewter dust just beyond the periphery of town. If there is insufficient dust available there, then I'm afraid you must venture further into the wilds for your materials.
Tell me, have you heard news of Cloudrest, the city within the mountains of Etonir? My mother is there, and I feel she may be in danger. Bad dreams. A great darkness devouring Cloudrest as it filled the streets. My mother's last letter spoke of the Welkanars capturing the sea-slowed Zamaj just a few days ago. If there's anything powerful enough to destroy a city, it's a slowed. Yes, I'm afraid I do. Could you travel to Cloudrest and seek out my mother, Bellerin? I must warn you, though, should my dreams be true, such a journey may come at great risk. You'll want to gather many allies by your side before heading off. I know a few merchants headed to the city. I'm sure they'd be amenable if you asked for a ride in their cart. And remember, gather as many allies as you can before heading out. If Zamaja has attacked Cloudrest, you'll need the aid. If Cloudrest is known for anything, it's the Welkanars. The fact that they were able to capture something as dangerous as a sea slowed tells you of their might in battle. Especially one as powerful as Zamaja. They're battle mages, all four of them. Some of the greatest warriors on the Isle. Together they watch over all of Somerset. Many call them Griffin Knights, due to their chosen steeds. It's truly a sight seeing them soar above the clouds. I only know what my mother's letter described. Zamaja is known for her shadow magic. She can shape darkness to do her bidding. Way I hear it, the Welkanars had to slay 100 shadow creatures before they were able to capture her. My advice? Find more warriors. If Zamaja has managed to escape, she won't be easy to battle. Even alone, Slodes are notoriously strong magic users. The more seasoned warriors you can join up with, the better chances you have of defeating her.
Starlight ride of Valinor, gone beneath the waves. Yeah! A starlight ride of Valinor, the sea became her grave.
Excellent work. Even now, I see a hint of the gem you shall surely become. Now that you have the necessary... Pewter dust can be refined into ounces at any jewelry crafting station. Once you have refined the dust, return to me for your next step. You'll need several ounces if you wish to create a ring. Like many other crafting materials, you'll find pewter dust within the wilderness. Try searching within the outskirts of the city. I happen to know there's a rich vein nearby. I've heard tell of guild stores often selling the material. If you are part of a guild, you can also look to your companions who may barter such supplies. all means of nature, beauty is wrought. Now that you have the material, it's time to see your craft come into being. Oh, I positively cannot wait to see what you create. Now, go back to the jewelry crafting station and create your ring. Show me? Not yet. We have so far only spoken in terms of creation, but the act of deconstruction is also an essential skill of any artisan. Go to the jewelry crafting station and deconstruct your ring, or any other item of jewelry, should you prefer. Deconstruction allows you to recover some amount of materials from the piece of jewelry you select. It also exposes you to the methods and practices of your peers. Deconstruct an item built by another, and your skill will grow substantially. Simply put, it is the practice of taking a piece of equipment and breaking it down to its constituent parts. Doing so turns your art back not only into its base materials, but also into newfound knowledge. Your bearing is that of an awakened artisan. Have you deconstructed a piece of jewelry as I requested? Most certainly. I hereby ordain you officially certified in the art of jewelry crafting. You may begin fulfilling writs immediately. Here's a small reward to get you started in your journey. You are now free to accept jewelry crafting writs. Be advised that while the jewelry you create may be beautiful, you'll need to conduct further research if you wish to add the traits most adventurers seek. You can research any trait that a piece of jewelry already possesses. Sadly, the item will be destroyed, but such is progress. You can also enchant jewelry, though you will have to seek another if you wish to learn more about that skill. You can learn traits which help with your health, stamina, or magicka. I suggest prioritizing traits you most need in your adventures, as the research process may take quite some time to complete. I have heard of many special jewelry stations located within certain parts of Tamriel. Jewelry pieces created at such stations will provide advantages when used in conjunction with specific armor and weapons.
I can train and certify you as a blacksmith, a clothier, or a woodworker. Which would you like to start with first? Of course. What do you want to know? Anything with metal in it, and I don't mean horseshoes and calipers. The crafting writs are for weapons and heavy armor, so that's what I teach. Bows, shields, and magical staves. Staffs? No, it's staves. I always forget how to say that. Cloth and leather goods. The crafting writs want pieces of light cloth armor or medium leather armor, so that's what I certify. Excellent! We can get started whenever you're ready. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. If you convince me you know how to use a needle and thread, I'll certify you. However, you must commit. I can't certify two things at once. Show me you can craft a pair of homespun gloves. First, you'll collect some raw jute, then return here and refine it. Finally, you'll use refined jute to make the gloves. Of course. It was the first trade I studied. I'm happy to certify anyone familiar with a clothing station. Now run forth and bring me a pile of raw jute. I spotted some raw jute growing on the outskirts of town. You might as well harvest it yourself. Should that not be enough, you'll have to search elsewhere.
Over here. Greetings. I have a message for you from Velast, mistress of Incunabula. Indeed, she has a task for you. You'll want to speak with her as soon as you can. Velast awaits you at the Guild Hall in Volkelgard, along the southern coast of Auradon. Of course. What can I tell you? The mistress of Incunabula for the Guild, the Keeper of Tomes. She's the Guild's most accomplished lore master, second only really to Guildmaster Vanus himself. I don't, but she usually tries to offer new guildmates a chance to prove themselves. As you might imagine, she's keenly interested in acquiring new books for the lore library. Maybe she's got a lead on a trove of tomes?
Lord of compassion for the lesser of care. Clap hands in praise.
don't know why you're so intent on sealing them. Linear time is so overrated. Just imagine, you could die before you were even born. Wait, that's horrifying, isn't it? I'm sorry. Never mind.
For Somerset, the Divine Prosecution acknowledges the completion of this contract. Here is your reward. I'll send scouts to the cove to deal with any tainted coral that remains. You seem quite dedicated to your tasks. At least you're good for something, newcomer. Reluctant, perhaps, but I'm also a realist. I'll accept help wherever I can find it if it means the survival of Somerset. Besides, it's not like I have a lot of other options in this matter. If only that option was available to me. No, the Altmer of Somerset have a purpose and a function. Each follow his or own path to Alaxon. I can't ask a farmer to abandon her crops or a monk to halt his prayers. That's simply not done. A high elf is certainly preferable to a cat or a lizard, but I'll take whatever I can get. As a justiciar of the Divine Prosecution, I've been ordered to get these contracts completed however I can. I never shirk my duty, and neither should you. Justiciar is my rank within the Divine Prosecution. It means I have more authority and responsibility than a bailiff, but not as much as a chief justiciar or a magistrate. I tend to investigate criminal infractions and adjudicate legal disputes. Newcomers often erroneously reach that conclusion. It defines an aspect of my role, but not the entirety. Justiciars not only render judgment, but also embody the righteousness of law. Pity I'm...
Actually compelled him to steal the heart of transparent law. We need to warn the Sapiarchs. He's frustrated by the situation. He hates that the Ceaselode got the better of him and that he can't remember. The Conclave is working with him to restore his memories, while we go to warn the Sapiarchs about the threat to the Crystal Tower. The Sapiarchs are the sages of Somerset, a college comprised of the finest minds in Altmer society. Each Sapiarch is devoted to a single area of expertise. Together, they maintain the greatest collection of knowledge in the world. The Sapiarchs serve as the curators of the Crystal Tower. A pair of Sapiarchs called the Tower Sentinels protect the 2 keys needed to open the way to the tower. We'll need their help eventually. First, though, the Proxy Queen. The Crystal Tower is a manifestation of ancient magic. It serves as a symbol for the Altmer. Its presence protects Somerset. The Ceaselode used the Right Master to weaken that protection, making their invasion possible. Beyond that, there are rumors. The kind that make the Right Master wary of allowing either the Ceaselode or the Daedric princes to possess its power. Legends say the Crystal Tower exists in every planar realm at the same time. It literally connects all realities. No, I doubt Keturah's magic could reach Artaeum once it was removed from the world. I think that's why the Right Master hid the island in the first place. If not for the Abyssal Pearl, Keturah would never have been able to exert its influence again. While I head to Lilendril, and you secure the Proxy Queen's permission, the Right Master had another task for Oriandra. He asked her to seek out the Eye of the Queen Razumdar. He wants to make sure the Eye is kept informed about the situation. Queen Irene's regent while she's away. Proxy Queen Alwyn Arwe oversees the governance of Somerset from the Royal Palace in Alinor. I've never met her, but all reports indicate that she's fair, if a bit set in her ways.
Search grassy areas in the wilderness for raw jute. You should find enough if you look around. Raw jute is plentiful if you know where to look. Just don't chew on it. It can really do a number on your... Well, just don't chew on it. Take the raw jute to a clothing station. If you have enough, you can easily refine it. Bring the refined jute to me when you're done, and then you'll make some homespun gloves. If you're in a guild, check the guild stores. They often have raw materials and refined goods for sale. Of course, you can always trade with a friend. Before you make the gloves, you need to bring raw... When I'm refining jute, I sing to help pass the time. Not too loud. I don't want to disturb the other clothiers. Head to the clothing station and craft a pair of homespun gloves. You shouldn't need much refined jute. Don't forget a style material. You can purchase them from any clothier or scavenge them yourself. Every race has a traditional material they work into their weapons and armor. For example, the Imperial style material is nickel. I should know. Every day in the Legion camps, I worked a pile of it. The High Elf style material is adamantite. See what you can do with that. You can learn how to craft with another race's style material by studying racial motif books. They're quite rare. Mostly held by collectors, so watch for them in your travels. You'll need refined jute and a style material. Clothiers sell those if you can't find any yourself. You know, I'm a master clothier, yet I still own a pair of homespun gloves. They keep my hands warm at night. Sometimes simple is better. Wonderful! Now for deconstruction. There's much to learn from breaking down your own work, even more so with someone else's creation. Head to a clothing station and deconstruct your gloves. Or anything else, really. Just be sure you do it there. You'll regain some components, of course, but the real trick is to deconstruct another crafter's work. You can learn far more by disassembling someone else's material than your own. It's a fancy way to say take something apart. The term originally came from Altmer poetry critiques. High elves consider their physical crafts to be forms of poetry, so it stuck. You can't know what a sword is, only what it's not, and so forth. You're more than capable with needle and thread. I'll be proud to call you my colleague. Already done. You'll now be able to fulfill clothier crafting writs, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else. Prove you know your way around a forge and I'll certify you. But you have to commit. I can only train one discipline at a time. I want you to craft a simple iron dagger. First you'll mine some iron ore, then refine the ore into iron ingots. You'll use those ingots to make the dagger. Yes, you have to prove you know your way around a blacksmithing station. Those are the rules. For now, bring me an armload of iron ore. Once you're back, you'll refine them into iron ingots. There's a place outside of town which should still have some iron ore veins. Head there and mine it for yourself. Bring me 10 solid chunks of iron ore. If those veins are played out, you'll need to find iron ore on your own.
These weapons are the best in Somerset. I assure you, no finer blade is made by man or mer.
Welcome! You stand amidst the circle of champions, a guild formed to test the greatest fighters of the realm in games of skill. Do you have what it takes? Well then, let's see what you're made of. Participate in one of our games at any of our battlegrounds. Win or lose, doesn't matter. Just get your feet wet. I can offer you a greater challenge after you've learned the ropes. You'll never understand the battleground until you see the games firsthand. Get out there and participate. Of course. Now, we may have many games available. Which challenge would you like to know about? Team Deathmatch has always been popular. All that ceaseless bloodshed really gets the heart pumping. Just go into the field and attack as many players as possible. The more hits you get in, the more points your team scores. Anyone can claim a capture point, but it's a true test of skill to master domination. Seize and protect as many capture points as you can. The team with the most territory in the end wins. In this game, you must dominate your rivals or be dominated. Ever the curious one, eh? Good. Knowledge can be key to a decisive victory. What other challenge would you care for me to explain? Capture the Relic is one of our simpler games. You must seize your enemy's relic and return it to your base, all while protecting your own relic as well. Teamwork is the key to victory in this game, as you'll need a strong defense and offense. Chaos Ball sounds simple. You grab the ball and hold on to it for as long as you can. The longer you last, the more points you earn. It gets a bit more complicated when you're also running for your life, dodging swords and spells from the other team. Ah, one of my personal favorites. Unlike our other games where you must stand fast, Crazy King gets the blood really flowing. In this game, the capture point keeps moving. Keep your feet quick and your shields up. Difficult to win when you're dead.
You're back. I take it you found enough ore? Refining ore into ingots is a good way to build your muscles. Well, in one arm. Best to switch every now and then. Otherwise, you'll be lopsided. Bring the iron ore to a blacksmithing station. If you have enough, you can refine them into iron ingots. Really put your back into it. When you have iron ingots, return to me. Look near rock formations, outcroppings, or hills. Sometimes you'll see it by streams or beaches where the water has exposed it to the elements. The same goes for most other kinds of ore. some iron ore to a blacksmithing station to get iron ingots. Refining ore into ingots is a good way to build your muscles. Go to the blacksmithing station and craft an iron dagger. Nothing fancy. You shouldn't need more than 2 iron ingots. Oh, and you'll need a style material. You can purchase them from any blacksmith, or scavenge them yourself if you're thrifty.
Infinite.
Craft an iron dagger. You'll need some iron ingots and a style material. You can buy those from any blacksmith if you can't find them yourself. The trick is the style material. I'm sure you know that. Next is deconstruction. You learn a lot when you break something into parts, even more so when it's someone else's work. Go deconstruct your dagger, or anything else really, as long as you do it at a blacksmithing station.
Oh, pitiful me.
You certainly know your way around a forge. None knew otherwise. Of course, I'll get you certified right away so you can fulfill blacksmith crafting writs immediately. There's only one more certification I can provide. If you need training, I have time. A good woodworker sees the final product before cutting the first block of wood. But I can't teach 2 crafts at once. If you commit yourself to the training, I'll certify you. I want to know if you can craft a maple bow. First, go harvest some rough maple. You'll refine it into sanded maple at a woodworking station. Last, you'll take the sanded maple and turn it into a maple bow. Absolutely! Bows are challenging to craft. Show me you're up to the challenge and I'll happily certify you. But first, go get me a bundle of rough maple. There's a place nearby which should have what you need. Collect an armload and return here. If there's not enough, you'll need to search for more. for rough maple in forested areas. Sometimes you'll see logs washed up on beaches. You should avoid cutting a rough maple log with a wasp nest inside. It's rather unpleasant. So are the lotions you'll need for the stings. Bring the rough maple to a woodworking station. As long as you have enough, you can refine it into sanded maple. Return to me when you've done that, and we'll talk about crafting a maple bow. Bring some rough maple to a woodworking station and refine it into sanded maple. It's easy work. I prefer to work with maple. It's reliable, plentiful, rarely full of wasps. Craft a maple bow at a woodworking station. You'll need sanded maple, also a style material. Scavenge them yourself. Craft a maple bow. Bring some sanded maple to a woodworking station as well as a style material. Carpenters sell them if you can't find any yourself. A good bow will get you far in life. Making good bows will get you farther. Excellent! Now we can talk about deconstruction. You grow as a woodworker when you disassemble your own creations, even more so with someone else's work. Head to a woodworking station and deconstruct your bow, or any other crafted wood. I've seen everything I need to see. You're a fine woodworker with a steady hand. Certainly. You're more than qualified to fulfill woodworking crafting writs. I'll certify you immediately.
I have nothing left to teach. Have you spoken with Daniel Toleno? He can certify you at enchanting, alchemy, and provisioning. Last I heard, he was in the local Mages Guild.
Of course. What do you want to know? I can explain how to craft stronger items with more materials, tell you about the improvement of existing items, or discuss research and traits. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. Simply increase the amount of refined material during an item's creation. Of course, each material has its own limits. At some point, it's just waste. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. Bring any tempers you find to a blacksmithing station. You can improve the quality of forged weapons or heavy armor. A word of warning, unless you have enough tempers, you can lose your item while improving it. Be sure you know the risks. Some weapons, armor, and shields possess rare traits that distinguish them from others. Every kind of item has its own unique set of traits. Once you research a trait, you will always be able to craft an item of that kind with that particular trait. Bring any item with a trait to the appropriate crafting station and research it. You'll lose the item in the process, but you'll learn the trait. The more traits you already know for an item, the longer new traits take to research. Plan accordingly. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. If you bring tannins to a clothing station, you can improve the quality of light or medium armor. Be sure you bring enough tannins, or you could lose your item instead of improving it. There's always a risk. You can easily create more powerful weapons, armor, and shields. Simply increase the amount of refined material during an item's creation. Of course, each material has its own limits. At some point, it's just waste. You can greatly improve weapons, armor, and shields with certain rare materials. These materials are unique to each craft. You'll want to bring resins to a woodworking station and use them to improve the quality of a bow, staff, or shield. But without enough resins, you risk losing the item in the process. Taking a chance can be very expensive if you aren't careful. Of course. What do you want to know? Fair question. I was an apprentice clothier in the Imperial City, but my old fusspot of a master had no plans to retire. So I joined the 7th Legion's baggage train. Years of mending battle mage armor helped me perfect my craft. Armies need all kinds of weapons and armor. You learn to pick up a few skills along the way. Also, enemies who capture the baggage train are far more likely to ransom an exceptionally talented crafter. 4 times for me. Don't plan on a 5th.
There is much more I can teach you. What else do you hope to learn from me? A provisioner condenses the essence of ingredients into food or drink. A true artist balances palate with nutrition. I can share this noble profession, but I can only certify one craft at a time. Understood? Provisioning is a rewarding yet grueling profession. Gruel, you see. I am capable of levity, on occasion. First, you'll need a recipe and some ingredients. Then you shall roast a pig. Yes, I hope you don't think it beneath you. As bards learn lyrics before singing them, provisioners must work from recipes. A recipe specifies volume, proportion, and preparation time. Understand? I keep an old rival's recipe nearby. Go, find and memorize it. Return to me when you have done so. Provisioners are quite secretive, but all is fair in brews and stews. Some provisioners hide recipes in old drawers or shelves, thinking themselves clever. Better to memorize the recipe, then others cannot possibly learn your secrets. Should coin be of no issue to you, guilds often sell such items in their guild stores. You may also trade with an ally if they have any excess. Roast pig is an easy recipe to learn, but difficult to master. Provisioners are only as good as their ingredients. The fewer the better. Simplicity of pairing is key. Now, go find ingredients for roast pig. If my stocks are empty, you should find what you need in town. Barrels, sacks of grain, kitchens, of course. It's food, it's simply around. Find what you need and take it.
Polished amber, cast but like comet step.
One turn with the ingredients will determine whether you know how to combine them. I've always believed the hunt for ingredients is its own reward. Now, the moment of truth. Go to a cooking pot with your ingredients and follow the recipe. Return to me with the results, so your worth as a cook may be judged. Ingredients? One is solid, the other liquid. Truly, I don't understand the question. Quality food and drink boosts your energy, and a full belly lasts for quite some time. A provisioner's fare is much healthier than any old slop you find around. Why eat a bandit's grilled capon when you can make your own? Bring me your culinary creation so I might inspect it. I'll determine whether or not you deserve certification. Interesting scent. Do I detect a hint of Wamasu? No, that can't be right. Not how I do it, of course, but interesting enough to pass certification. You may now fulfill provisioning writs. Keep your pots warm and your ladle clean. Your command of the crafts is impressive, but not yet in totality. I am still capable of instructing you. Enchanters harness the possibility of runes, transforming them into the certainty of glyphs. I'll teach you, but I can only focus on one certification at a time. Is this agreeable? Potency, essence, and aspect. All beneath the stars bear these component concepts. When combined, they form glyphs, which add enchantments to items. First, you'll find these component runes. Then I will have you create a glyph. Absolutely, for such is the essence of enchanting. Runes of potency, essence, and aspect are the fundamental components of glyphs. Collect one of each variety before you return. We begin at the enchanting table. There you will combine a rune of potency, essence, and aspect. This simple puzzle forms a glyph. Now go, piece them together.
Jora Oko Ta. Hurrade Deni. Jejota. Hurrade Deteri. Jejota. Hurrade Huoko Jejota. Hurrade Mako Jejota.
Craft a glyph using a rune of potency, essence, and aspect. Return when you have forged intent into form. You should attach it to an item so you can see the enchantment's effects. You are now certified to fulfill enchanting rites. May you unravel the secrets of Nirn. Your command of the crafts is impressive, but not yet in totality. I am still capable of instructing you. Alchemists are masters of the elixir. They trap magic in a bottle for later use. But I can only certify you in one discipline at a time. If this is agreeable, we can begin your training. As with master chefs, every alchemist must assemble the right components before crafting a special concoction. Are you so capable? We shall see. I require you to locate a solvent and some reagents. Then you shall craft me a potion. Yes, every alchemical mixture requires a solvent, a pure liquid base, and reagents such as herbs and flowers. Now go, find a solvent and some reagents. Once you have what you need, return to me. There's a quiet area nearby with mountain flowers and columbine. A fresh source of water can't be far from them. If you find nothing there, venture into the wilds and seek them for yourself. In the wilderness, you'll find herbs, flowers, and mushrooms all around. These make the best reagents. As for solvents, look for bubbling springs in lakes, ponds, streams, and shores, sealed bottles as well. Purity of the solvent is key. Locate a solvent and some reagents so you make here for now. An apprentice of mine tried to use seawater as a solvent. I had him drink the results. He agreed it was a terrible idea after he finished retching. Good. Now go to an alchemy station. Use a solvent and 2 differing reagents to craft a potion. The reagents must possess common traits, or you'll waste all components. You see, alchemy is as simple as pairing like with like. Open your knapsack and place them in your mouth. The first time you consume a reagent, you'll learn its most rudimentary trait. True, some taste quite foul, but it's a small price to pay for the power of alchemy. Potions have far too many benefits to recount. Expect them to have strong effects for short periods of time. Or are you asking how to use them? Open the stopper, place them to your lips, and swallow. Don't pour them on your hair. Lesson learned. Blend the solvent's purity with the reagent's traits. Return to me when you've crafted a potion. Your potions have a slight fizz to them, but your skill with admixtures is unquestioned. Far better than my former apprentice. You are now authorized to obtain and fulfill alchemy writs. May your elixirs remain potent and your reagents fresh. Mastery of 3 crafts is its own reward. Certainly. Please specify. Decades ago, before all the trouble, I was a renowned chef in Cyrodiil. I had engaged an exclusive contract to provide the Mages Guild in their travels, providing food and drink that wouldn't spoil when carried through portals. Broiling fish, forging glyphs, or mixing potions, it's all recipes and ingredients. I proved the theory when I joined the ranks of the Mages Guild. Mastered both crafts within 3 years, not that I'm bragging.
How can I am Rigert the Brash, Ambassador at Large for the exceedingly excellent Nord Cultural Exchange. I fear my mission to this beautiful island of snooty elves has ended before it has even begun. The glorious pact sent Rigert to bargain with Queen Irene, to use my considerable charms to woo high elves to talk of peace and an end to the Three Banners War. I even brought gifts to bestow upon the pretty queen. But Rigert has failed. Again. These tall, skinny elves, they have so many rules. Did you know Queen Irene isn't even on Somerset? And to get an audience with her proxy queen requires some sort of proper introduction. Vindilween won't let me set foot in the palace without one. You would help Rigert? That makes my heart dance like young ones at a Mara's Day ball. Speak to Courtier Vindilween and find out how we get one of these proper high elf introductions. Remember, I brought gifts. That's sure to open a few doors. Rigert is the bestest ambassador in all of Skyrim. Sometimes I think the Nord Cultural Exchange was created just to take advantage of my talents and inaptitudes. I think that was the word the Thane used. Anyway, Rigert has come to end the war. The Three Banners War. Terrible business. I was drinking at the Skald King's court when I mentioned how silly it was to fight over an empty throne. Next morning, they put me on a boat and sent me here. Rigert always gets the most important missions. If we can get an audience with her, or her proxy queen, I will certainly try. An ongoing war with no end in sight can't be good for either side. Plus, Rigert can be very persuasive, especially when I bring gifts. Rigert has no idea. Vindilween kept talking about laws and rules and customs, said a simple Nord like me would never understand. But with you to help navigate these cultural conundrums, Rigert will be having tea with the proxy queen in no time. What's to tell? Vindilween's a self-important royal lackey who thinks her armpits smell like fresh linen. If the snooty high elves have ministers of culture, then Vindilween is definitely their king. Go talk to her and see for yourself. Oh, such treasures I brought. Gifts that any Nord would kill for. And many have. I brought wonderments from the vaults of Windhelm. A depressing stuffed goat, Dibella's bosom knight favor, and essence of mammoth. An excellent treasure. This was King Yoren's prized pet Badir, known for her bravery. She once faced down a horde of rampaging orcs. The Skald King stuffed and mounted her for display, but found it too depressing to keep on the mantle. Something every virile man and woman can appreciate. This bust of Dibella, god of beauty and erotic instruction, holds a place of honor in many Nord bedchambers. Its presence makes nightly activities more invigorating. Irene will love it. Oh, this one is popular with maidens and matrons who can afford it. The alchemists of Windhelm crafted this expensive fragrance for use on special occasions. Who wouldn't want to smell like wet mammoth on a warm spring day, eh?
I have no time to deal with whatever issue concerns you, newcomer. I recently received word that all of Somerset faces an imminent threat from a source we believed had disappeared long ago. Of course, you must be the newcomer the Queen's cat told me about. If you really killed a sea slode, then you might be just what I need to keep the situation from completely spinning out of my control. Will you help defend Somerset? A group of adventurers volunteered to investigate the possible incursion. I received a single report that indicated they were making progress, but that was the last I heard from them. Kynar, Grog, and Maria seemed capable enough, but sea slowed. The mage Kynar radiated an air of confidence, as did the Red Guard Maria. They seemed extremely competent. The orc, though, Grog, I think he called himself, appeared to be in a constant state of inebriation. Drunk! He was as intoxicated as a Nord on festival day. I took a chance because the situation seemed desperate, and by the stars it appears that I'm going to do so again. For all our sakes, I hope you don't disappoint me too. Frankly, I thought sea slodes were just a myth. Other than the report from Razumdar, I have no solid evidence of this so-called incursion. That said, the disappearance of Kynar and the Marines I sent out has given me cause for concern. Without more information, there's no target to attack. Besides, I don't have an army at my disposal right now. The majority of our forces are committed to the continent and the Three Banners War. I must rely on the forces at hand.
Did I see you with that Nord? You really need to reconsider the company you keep.
An audience with the proxy queen for a Nord? Well, an introduction requires certain documents. A recommendation from the appropriate sapiarch, for example, as well as an audit from the divine prosecution. And perhaps a small favor for me. A crude yet accurate analogy. Get Sapiarch Tandeman to provide a recommendation, and Justiciar Rolamdel to give Rigot a legal writ validating his credentials. Then, as a favor to me, acquire a pair of tickets to Thespian Enigma's next performance. More. You newcomers just seem to want and want and want. Very well. Which of these very necessary items would you like to ask about? Tandenman is the sapiarch of foreign observations. He's Somerset's leading expert on the cultures that aren't Altmer. He's excited about the Queen's decree, as he finally gets to meet outsiders face to face. You can find him here in Alinor. You'll have to ask the sapiarch. Perform a favor of some sort, I suppose. Nothing too outrageous. Probably he'll want some help interviewing the mass of newcomers flocking to our shores. Now, if there's nothing else... Rolamdel serves as an officer of the divine prosecution, enforcing both secular and religious law. He'll provide a legal writ that confirms Rigot's diplomatic credentials. For a small favor, of course. You can find him in Lilandril. Favors are the currency of power here in Somerset, but don't concern yourself too much about it. Rolamdel will probably just want help with some minor legal matter or another. Nothing that you and the Nord won't be able to handle. Ah, the beautiful and mysterious Enigma. I am a true admirer of her work. The Thespian might be the House of Revelry's best. I certainly think so. And so do a lot of others, based on the scarcity of tickets. I expect you can find her in Relenthiel. That's for you to solve. If Rigot actually wants to see the proxy queen, that is. Dealing with Enigma shouldn't be much different from dealing with the others. She is a high elf, after all. Favors go a long way, even at the House of Reveries.
A new face in the court, and how pleasant and interesting it is. We do appreciate the return of our brothers and sisters to the Blessed Isle, even if our nobles count you among the other newcomers. Now then,
What business brings you to the palace?
Civic order? We have not heard from that body of August sages in quite some time. And then word comes that we should expect a visitor. Why does the Right Master send you to see the Sapiarchs? Speak true if you want our assistance in this matter. Ah, the business that Razumdar spoke of. We assumed the Queen's cat exaggerated. He does purr as well as he growls. Very well. We'll send word to Lilandril to give you access to the college. Just tell the Right Master we expect to see him soon. Of course. We have nothing else to do but talk about the many wonders of the Blessed Isle. Let us tell you all about the Sapiarchs, the divine prosecution, Ultima recipes, and perhaps even the schedule of performance for the House of Revelers. You do? It's good we consider you as charming as you are interesting. The Sapiarchs teach us and guide us, bringing their knowledge to every part of Ultima society. Their compound in the Lilandril serves as the seat of their college. Of course, and we shall alert the Portal Master to accommodate you. Once inside, seek out Lana Teal, Sapiarch of Arcanology. She leads the college and should hear the Right Master's warning. For an Ultima, you have much to learn, newcomer.
I have said, the proxy queen is unable to hold an audience with petitioners at this time.
Ever busy proxy queen, see us!
Does she even intend on receiving our petitions? Or does she cast us aside like the rest of you high elves?
Many affairs compete for the proxy queen's attention. The complaints of newcomers do not rank as a matter of priority, simply put.
How dare you dismiss me? As though I was some commoner. I refuse to leave this spot until my petition is heard.
The same goes for me.
I hope you aren't here about anything important. My schedule is completely full. I couldn't possibly squeeze you in before the mid-year Mud Crab Festival. A recommendation? I'll have you know that I don't just throw those together in a slapdash fashion. A recommendation must be researched and carefully considered. I can't be too cautious when it comes to endorsing new arrivals. Vindilween? Why didn't you say so? If you can acquire items of cultural significance from the newcomers, say something from a Khajiit, a Breton, and an Argonian, I might be persuaded to write a recommendation for Ambassador Riggott. As a matter of fact, I do. The Khajiit's name is Urjara. Exotic, don't you think? Henri Ondare is the Breton, and the Argonian calls herself Grayscale. Bring me something that belongs to them and reflects their cultures, and then we can talk.
fear instead of opportunity, this land of high elves holds nothing but disappointment for newcomers such as me. Are you now? Well, I'm trying to find a job. Looks like we're both going to be disappointed. On the other hand, I do have this turtle clasp, crafted in the Breton style. I might be persuaded to give it to you, for the right price. Any chance I could... Not on your life, you cheap bastard! I suggest you walk away. Go find another newcomer to swindle. Not now, friend. I haven't been able to... Not now, friend. Are you now? It will indeed. Now, where did I put that? Oh, here it is. Take it and use it in good health, my friend. It was a pleasure doing business with you.
I'm not sure what I expected when I decided to journey to Somerset, but it sure wasn't this. No rest for the weary and always more work to do. Forgive my lack of manners. Is there something you need? Really? Well, I didn't bring much with me, just my recipes. In fact, I just made a bowl of ojisaka for Races the Moons. He hasn't tasted it since he left Murkmire. Mentioned he had a craving. I was about to take it to him in that sack. Give you Races ojisaka? I don't think so. It's extremely difficult and time-consuming to make, and I promised that bowl to my friend. You'll just...
Does this one regret leaving elsewhere and making the journey to Somerset? No, for Joan and Jode watch over me and bless me with health and good fortune. How can Ordra help you, friend? This one brought a few heirlooms with her, whatever could be stuffed in my carry sack. Ordra has a Khajiit navigation stone, for example. Lets me find my way even in this strange land. I couldn't part with it, though. It has sentimental value. The Sapiarch! Why didn't you say it was for the Sapiarch? Of course, Ojura will let you have this beautiful Khajiit item of cultural significance, as long as it's for the Sapiarch. Please let him know that this one was happy to comply.
Courtier Vindilwyn was kind enough to tell me who she sent you to perform favors for. I've been sitting here drinking and having a most pleasant conversation with Sapiarch Tandemin. Were you able to acquire the items of cultural significance he requested? You did? That is most excellent, my good friend. But Rigert has an even better idea. We should also give the Sapiarch one of my gifts. Nothing says culture like a Nord keepsake. But which one do you think he would like best? Interesting. The Night Favor depicts a beloved Nord god. It is solid and will last forever. And it might help the Sapiarch if he ever finds a sweet onion. And by sweet onion, Rigert means a lover. A perfect choice! Friend Sapiarch, here are the cultural items you asked for, along with a gift from Rigert. A Nord Night Favor.
That's everything I wanted, plus an arousing example of Nord erotica. Thank you. Here is the official letter of recommendation you requested.
Yeah!